Okay, this video, I'm going to show you what it looks like going north on I-15 from Mesquite, Nevada, or basically, you know, driving Las Vegas to St. George, Utah. Those are probably more common cities that you guys might recognize, but anyway, just north, I-15, a handful of miles back. I just left Mesquite. But anyway, we're going to be going the next 20, let's see, the sign says about 25 miles. Just going through the canyons here. Some people call it the Gorge, the Virgin River. It's kind of fun. It's nice and pretty. But if you're in a semi-truck, I just reckon, you know, like I drive a certain way, and boy, I live in Utah, so I go Las Vegas to Utah. This is probably my 1000th time, but I just drive a certain way and it seems to work for me. But what I do is I just get in the slow lane, even if it's late at night. I just, you know, and you can blast through this quite fast, and it's easy to get a speeding ticket through here because there are some very steep hills, but there's a lot that go downhill. So if you coast and don't have your compression brakes or your Jake brake on, you can coast at 80 miles an hour quite easy. And of course, at the bottom of these hills, if there's a policeman, you're screwed, because trucks, you're only supposed to go about 55 miles an hour through here. 75 miles an hour now for cars, it's 65. And then, you know, in less than a quarter of a mile, you'll see the signs here. They just recommend you go about 55 through here. Now, honestly, in the real world, every car goes about 75. And semi-truck guys go probably 65 to 70, because as you'll find out if you're new to trucking, or maybe you've been driving a long time, there's the recommended speed, which is 55, and then there's the real world. So anyway, here we go. And like I said, if you've never seen this part of Utah, well, you know, Nevada going into Utah, it's kind of fun. You know, there's a lot of scenery. And if you like twists and turns, here we go. So I'm going about 55. It does get slick, it gets cold. You know, it definitely, you know, right now I'm filming this, let's see, it's January, so, but it's really nice. It's like 60, 65 degrees. That's why a lot of people like to live in St. George in the winter months, because it does hit 70 in the winter, which is nice. But up in Utah, it's, you know, like Salt Lake City area, it's like 25 to 35 this time of year. Yeah, these videos, I'll film probably about 15 to 20 minutes, so if you want to fast forward, I definitely get it. But I like to do on-the-road series on my YouTube channel, so if you are new to trucking, or maybe you've never been, you know, Las Vegas to St. George, this will give you an idea what it looks like. I'm just in a new Peterbilt 589. I got a 53-foot Great Dane on the back. But I'm just slow laning it, you know, just going 55. It gets kind of crowded through here, you know, depending on rush hour, because a lot of people do work in Las Vegas or Mesquite, and then they haul ass back home, you know, through these canyons to St. George. It's roughly about 20 miles, you know, going through these twists and turns. You won't get a lot of cell phone coverage and internet, so if you're streaming music, you know, even Sirius satellite, or your cell phone, don't be surprised if it only works half the time. Yeah, the signals have a hard time just cutting through these canyons. Right now, pretty flat. You know, I'm only about a mile or two in, but if you're just joining the video, I'm north on I-15. Although I'm physically going east, but as you know, I-15 kind of goes east a lot, but it's mostly a north and south freeway. So going basically Mesquite to St. George, Utah, northbound. Yeah, this video should be cake, you know, daytime. It's like 4 in the afternoon, so it's not too early, I guess. In the wintertime, it's pitch dark by 5 o'clock, which I still don't know anyone in America that really cares about have in the wintertime pitch black at 5 at night. But, you know, in Arizona, which actually, we're in Arizona for about a mile or two going through here, so this part is Arizona. So it goes Nevada into Arizona just for a couple miles. And then you'll see a sign coming up here in about 5-7 minutes, you know, maybe a little longer. It'll say, welcome to Utah. So you basically go Nevada, and then just about 10 miles of Arizona, and then you go right into Utah's border. Yeah, hopefully you guys can see out the windshield. Yeah, it's kind of fun. You know, a lot of twists and turns. This is the flat area still, so not a lot of snow, you know, not a lot of ice, although I have seen it before, but it's kind of rare through this part. But it will get cold because you got a lot of water. If you look off to the right, you'll see, I think that's just still part of the Virgin River. You can park, but if you look out the windshield, you know, there are little parking areas. So if you're in your semi-truck, right there to the right, you know, you can sleep or just rest, do your break, or just take pictures or whatever. Sometimes it's fun to get out here in the gray wild west, especially if you're from the East Coast. But it's like a little mini Grand Canyon. Starts getting a little steep, but you'll see what I mean. Coming up, you're going to have some real steep downhill areas, and that's where I recommend, you know, don't ride your brake pedal. You know, if you have a newer truck, you know, most trucks have like a Jake brake or a compression brake system. I've got a 100th anniversary Cummins in this truck, and it's got 4 positions of compression braking, you know, which is kind of nice. You know, 2 cylinders, 4, or all 6. And then you can also go into max mode, which even doubles up on the compression, so you don't have to use your foot brakes so much if you need to slow down a little bit. Well, we're getting to the halfway mark. It's basically about 20 miles by the time you get into the canyon, and by the time you get to the very top of the hill, you'll see welcome to Utah, and then immediately is a weigh station. They're somewhat strict, so if you have like a pre-pass and you know, have a good score, you'll pass quite a bit. But there is, what's the weigh station hours? I think they open up around 6 and they close sometimes on Sunday by midnight. And then like Monday through Thursday, Monday through Friday, I notice sometimes they're open till 2 a.m. So if you're kind of sneaking away weigh stations, this one does close. As of, you know, producing this video, it's January 2021. Okay, this is where it gets steep. I don't know if you're looking at the camera, if you can tell, you know, if I'm going up or downhill, but this is pretty steep. So if you're going the opposite way, St. George into Mesquite, or St. George heading to Las Vegas on I-15, you'll want to watch it, because at the very bottom, going the opposite way, you'll see policemen just waiting at the bottom, because if you don't do any type of braking in your semi, you will coast, even empty. If you're in just a, like, you know, a Peterbilt, Freightliner, even if you're empty, you're still going to coast at about almost 80 miles an hour if you don't watch it. So be careful. It's a super easy ticket to get when you're going the other way. But since we're going north right now, we're kind of taking our time using torque to get up this bastard here. I'll be filming Parley's, you know, which is a really steep canyon. If you're Park City, Utah, down to Salt Lake, or maybe going Salt Lake up, Parley's Canyon is real. It's real steep. It's on par with the Sisters in Wyoming. You know, you got Grapevine, you know, in California, and of course Cabbage is pretty steep, going up to Oregon, you know, from Boise or whatnot. But okay, this is where I don't know if you'll be able to hear, but I've got all compression right now, so I'm doing it about 1800 RPM, which is a sweet spot for this Cummins. You know, it's a brand new Cummins. It's got about 2,100 pounds of torque. Yeah, we got it kind of revved up to about 600 horsepower. These are great engines. I don't know if you're a Cummins fan, but they're really nice. But you can see just, you know, I'm not even using the brake. I just let the engine, you know, slow me up. I try to keep around 55. You know, it's very easy to go 60, you know, or 70, because when you coast down these steep hills, like I said, if you're not paying attention, before you know it, you're going 70, 80 miles an hour. And there'll be a policeman parked right there if you look off to the right of my cam. All right, so trying to keep it around 55. That's what the speed limit is, but like I said, everybody you'll see cruises around. I mean, God, there's people that go 80 or 90, especially the Corvette fans or, you know, the sports cars. It's fun to go through this canyon hauling ass, especially late at night. There's like zero traffic. There are a couple curves that'll, if you are going fast, you got to watch it in your semi, because it'll shift your trailer weight. And if you have a newer truck, you know, your brakes will come on, you know, because it'll be able to feel your trailer shifting on the back of your fifth wheel, and it'll apply the brakes and scare the crap out of you. Yeah, it's really nice looking, you know. So if you've never been in this part of Utah, northbound or southbound I-15, St. George, you know, going into Mesquite or Las Vegas, which is more common, but yeah, just keeping the camera straight. Going uphill again. You know, if you're going opposite, you'll want to slow down a little bit. Yeah, we're going over the Virgin River right now. This is still part of Arizona, so Nevada, just a few miles of Arizona, and then it goes right into Utah. It's just the very, very tip of Arizona, very short. But if you get a ticket, there's a brand new Pilot that they just built right, literally only a mile or so outside of the canyon going towards Vegas. So if you're going southbound I-15, if you get out of this canyon, the very first exit is a brand new truck stop, which is really nice. You know, showers, it's all decked out, food and everything else. Normally you have to go all the way to the Indian reservation of Moapa, which is their version of their own truck stop. But the biggest truck stop after Moapa is Love's, so you got a Love's going into Vegas. But that brand new one that they just built is nice. And then going into Mesquite, they got a fairly new Flying J. Truck stop up here, if I remember right, you know, when you get into St. George, on the right side is a Pilot, and it's a pain in the butt to get to. So just go slow. So if you have it on your app on your phone, you know, it'll alert you when to get off to the Pilot, but it's kind of nestled up on a hill and you won't be able to see it. There's not like a big giant sign. I think Loves are the best for seeing. You can't miss that big giant glow in the dark heart, you know, the yellow and the red from far away. But yeah, the Pilots, the TAs, they're kind of hidden a little more. But if you are going northbound I-15 and you need to stop and relax and just do something in St. George, the Pilot is the first one on the right. It's right after the truck or the weigh station, you know, about a mile or two. Parking is kind of tiny, but if you get there at the right time, you will be able to park. And out on the street too, there's about 10. So if the Pilot in St. George is just jam-packed with reserved and just the normal spaces for you to park your truck and trailer, there's about 10 outside on the road, you know, which you won't get a ticket for because it's, you know, has a big shoulder, there's no signs. And you'll see what I mean. If you go through St. George a lot, especially at night, you'll see where all the truckers, you know, park literally just across the street, about, you know, 15 feet from where you pull into the Pilot. There's showers and everything there too. I mean, it's fairly big. All right, well, we're over halfway. If you're just joining the video, we're just northbound I-15, heading into St. George. Just going through the canyon. Some people call it the Gorge. I don't know what the official name is, but you cross over the Virgin River. And this is still Arizona, so if you get a ticket and you try to fight, excuse me, if you try to fight it or do whatever you got to do, you got to go clear. God, if I remember right, it's like 100 miles where you got to go to court, or pay your ticket. But yeah, it's an Arizona ticket. Same with Moapa. Be careful when you get Mesquite to Las Vegas. You're going to see Indian reservation land, and they own the freeway part, so their fines are more, believe it or not. So if a normal ticket is like $100 in a car or a normal truck, when you're on Moapa's land, the Indian reservation, they like, my brother I got a ticket one time, and I think it was 2 or 3 times more. So if your ticket would be about $100, it was like 200 or 300, he said. So watch it when you get into Moapa, just on speeding. But the speed limit is like 75, so most semi-trucks don't even go 75 anymore. They're kind of tapped. Most companies try to regulate them at 75 or lower. If you work for a newer company, you'll be probably governed at what, 62, 65. But yeah, if you're 75 or 80 miles an hour, just watch it. But most of the freeway, Utah, you can go 80 miles an hour in your semi-truck and almost all of the freeways that are outside of the big city. And then, going from the canyon I just got out of right into Las Vegas, the speed limit is 75. So it's pretty nice. All right, I'll just keep filming for a few more minutes. I just wanted to show you what that canyon looked like. I'll go ahead and show you just a few miles away. I'll go ahead and show you the way station that's coming up. But going through that canyon is 55 miles an hour. And then once you get up here, you're back to 65, 75 miles an hour. And that's in a semi-truck too. Unlike California, where you're pretty much governed at 55 everywhere. Utah, Nevada, Wyoming, and Nebraska and whatnot, they let you fly at 75, 80 miles an hour, which is nice. All right, just a mile or two. I'll show you the way station. Maybe I'll keep the video on too. I can show you that pilot. It's not impossible, but it is, if you're tired or not paying attention, you know how it goes when you're just kind of driving and you're not, you're safe, but you're just zoning out on certain things. It's easy to pass the pilot because it's hidden. It's up in this little cove way above the freeway. But maybe I'll keep my video on. I'll just show you where it's at, because it is nice to stop there and just fuel up or sleep, or just buy some food and drinks and whatnot. I've stopped there many times just for coffee. All right, the way station, the last left turn here, and now we're in Utah, and you're gonna have a way station on your right side. So I'll keep my video on just for a few more minutes. I don't know if I have to go through the way station or not. I do have pre-pass. I think I'm stopped like 5% of the time, when we looked at our record. So if I go through here, 10 times, I'm only stopped once or twice. All right, there's the sign. We're in Utah right now. Okay, so right now I'm getting the red light. All right, so anyway, all of us stop. Sometimes during the day, they just turn off all pre-pass. Everybody just stops. It's similar to like when you're in Truckee, going from Reno into Sacramento. But in the middle of the day, like it is now, you'll find that the truck stops. They just like you to go through and away. You don't have to get out, show registration or nothing. But and you can see off to the right, the way station is empty. There's no trucks except looks like one guy, a Walmart guy, sleeping there. Let's see here. It's kind of random. You'll see left, right, but above you'll see the red X or the green X, and you just kind of wait. So they want me to just follow the car transport. All right, well anyway, just about 1 mile to the right is where the pilot is. So if you're watching this video and you're going through the way station here or you're passing it, just remember the pilot is about 1 mile, and just, you know, get your signal on, get in the far right lane, and you'll see a big sign that says pilot. It's not all neon and stuff, but you'll see it. So, okay, thanks for watching my video. This is just northbound I-15, basically going Las Vegas into St. George, Utah. All right, we'll see you guys next video. Thanks.